nights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. I hate all this overthinking. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out.
Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action. Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering pool.
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Hello everybody and welcome into the 1-year anniversary of PGR Money Racing. It all started here, this series 1 year ago. And boy, what a long way we've come. But I mean, the racing hasn't changed that much, and we got another good one in store for you here tonight. I'm Austin Green, joined by Dawson Wise. How you feeling here tonight, Dawson?
I'm doing great, Austin. Happy to be here. Obviously a little bit late for me getting into PGR in terms of the 1 year, but it's been a great 6 months that I've been here, and I expect a great one tonight.
Great one tonight. Has to get started with a phenomenal and strong starting grid as usual. How about Alex Hill? He will take the pole for Dale Cup, puts down a 56.023. On his outside will be his teammate Steve Karosik. Cody Nagel's back in third, just able to get in here last second. but you know he's going to be a strong addition to that team here tonight. Kyler Wynn, the solo driver from Canada, he rolls off 4th. It's going to be Jason Maines rounding out your top 5. Ken McCullough Jr. in 6th. Garrett Maines 7th. Matthew Baker, who normally up here in the booth with us, he's out there racing tonight. He will roll off 8th. Malik Ray in 9th, and Daniel Eberhardt rounding out your top 10.
Row 6 will be the NBG entry of Jeff Merck in the 60. To his outside will be John Mullahan in the 6. Row 7, Team PGR driver J.R. Miller, along with the 32 of Dylan Jones. Row 8, starting 15 to be Matt Lee in the 04 for NBG, and Trevor Osranoth of KSR in the 89. Row 9 to be Team PGR's Nash Brambilla and BAR's Justin Mills in the 4. And rounding the top 20 tonight, Colin Bowden in the 24 and Sean Corbett in the 45.
21st will start Mark Vondell from McCullough Motorsports. How about Thomas Parker, one of the KSR boys? A little bit further back than we're used to seeing for a qualifying effort. He'll roll off 22nd. Richard Elliott back in 23rd, and it's Dustin Carruthers rounding out row number 12. Moving on back to row 13th, Braxton DeWeese, one of the fan favorites. He will roll off 25th with John Darnell to his outside, another one of the Team PGR drivers. Ryan Bass back in 27th. Brock Westmoreland 28th. Logan York 29th. And Mike Davenport rounding out the top 30.
Rest of the field tonight, 31st to be William Hicks, 32nd to be Sierra Clamper, 33rd to be Justin Miller in the 12, 34 the PGR champ, John Ward in the 92. Heat Joe for Hyper rolls from 35th with Chris McCullough to his outside. Row 19 to be Joey Allen in the 23 and Danny Barnes for Hyper Motorsports. Rounding out the field, another fan favorite, Tony Cox in the 72.
Yeah, and he's got a good-looking scheme here tonight. 2 of the Ghost Racing Network schemes in the field, Tony Cox and John Darnell. Get more to that later, but here's a breakdown of the race info. 84 degrees, the weather outside, 52% humidity, clear skies. It's a beautiful day at Talladega. Winds nice and calm at 3 miles an hour. There it is, the PGR 1-year anniversary race special event. That's why usually we're here on Thursdays, but on Wednesday, still going to have your regularly scheduled Thursday race tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss out on that. But here we are, Dawson, the Craftsman Truck Series, 40 laps, 100% fuel. 1 fast pair, fixed setups, 3 green-white checkers, just like the old days. And track temp, it's right about that perfect medium, just below 100 degrees. And when you look at super speedways, this giant 2.65 mile is the baddest of them all. It's going to be a good one here tonight as we get ready to roll.
Absolutely it is. I'm expecting a great race. It's a loaded field for a Wednesday, for an off night, if you will, for PGR. I can't wait. The field is stacked, and they are ready to roll.
And here we go. The pace car is going to make the left turn onto the pits for the first time here tonight. Row 1, Dale Cup, maybe not so much when we first got things started, but a year in, you're looking for one of the most dominant teams, and you got them right there. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget about Kyler Wynn, Garrett Maines. 1 year, the first birthday of PGR. PGR ESPORTS is what it's now known as. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega.
Steve Karosik leads lap 1. Kyler Wynn, nice push along the way there. He drops down now in front of his 2 teammates. Dale Cup 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. Kyler Wynn will now lead the top with Kenny McCullough, Jason Maines, Garrett Maines all in tow. Matthew Baker hanging back for a moment. He loses a couple spots. Expect him to get aggressive. Everybody 2 wide so far. Down the super stretch, Kyler Wynn, the driver from Canada, will take the lead.
And that fast pair's back tonight. That means 3 wide early, and here we go. We're already going to see that third lane starting to get formed up. Just a couple rows behind John Mullahan. It's Matt Lee jumping to the outside, and guess who? Colin Bowden, one of the better drivers, Bowden, already trying to make a move with that 04 truck. Do they get any help from a couple of the KSR boys? Looks like no dice. Still have to jump back down in line. Back to 2x2 we go.
Karosik Win continue to lead the field. Not a ton of movement like we were just talking about now. It is a very clogged middle lane. Not a lot going on the bottom. 4 trucks here at the front back to Andrew Navarro. Then the 78 of JR Miller. And after that, a huge gap back to the KSR boys mid-pack. Karosik back up in front of Kyler Wynn. Allows his teammate Alex Hill to cool off here for a moment. Dale Cup continues to control both lines now. Some of the best pushers in the game here at the front of the field. Kyler Wynn, Cody Nagels, Andrew Navarro, Kenny McCullough. All in tow here, 3 each. Top lines rolling. It's in the form of NBG Motorsports. It's Matthew Baker, Jeff Merck. Now Jason Maines leads the top into 3.
It's going to be an experiment all night, Dawson, and it has to start right here on lap number 3. Trying to figure out how well that third lane is going to work, how much pushing you can do. Can you offset the guy at all? Not much, but sometimes when you get these cooler track temps, maybe just a little bit more grip, maybe just a slight bit more forgiving, but that third lane looks to me like it is rolling pretty well. How about Jason Maines looking for 3 wide as he wants to lead, but it's going to be Ken McCullough Jr. He'll jump out now looking for a side draft on Kyler Wynn. 3 by 3 by 3 throughout the entire field now as we work our way through 1 and 2.
Karosik, smart veteran move by him. Jumps up in the middle in front of Kyler Wynn. Will block the momentum of the top lane as they try to get going here with Ken McCullough and Jason Maines. But Hill will continue to lead the bottom. They're loving this right now. Able to flip-flop here. Karosik able to display Pied Piper here at the front. Control the front 2 lanes. Now Wynn gets a huge run. Garrett Maines has flown through the pack here. All of a sudden now second in the middle. He's the lead pusher in the middle lane. And all of a sudden the bright blue, red, and black MCU body Ford F-150 comes to the front. Karosik back in the middle to block that momentum again. Third line starts to fade. Dale Cup again leads both lines here in the Tri Oval.
Yeah, and you saw us take a quick ride on board there with Trevor Osmernoth, one of the 2 drivers we have carrying an onboard view for us here tonight. And as always, it seems like when he's got a cam for us, he puts himself right in the middle of the chaos. But that's what you got to do at these big restrictor plate tracks. You got to try to stay at the front. We see it work out so much for Dale Cup, but we also see Dale Cup at the front of these races for just about the entirety of the distance we run in. Now tonight at 40 laps, 100% fuel. We haven't exactly talked about distance before that first green flag stop, but looking probably right around 30 laps. Give or take, if you're one of the guys saving, maybe go a little bit longer, such as Malik Ray right now in that 42 machine. How about JR Miller for Team PGR just behind him? But man, trying to get that third lane working, it's a catch-22, Dawson. You're burning a little bit more fuel. Oh, I reckon 1 into the wall. 2
the outside wall. It's Alex Hill in the 77, and then more reckon now the KSR boys. JR Miller, I believe, is involved as well.
And it looks like this one's going to collect a couple of them, as we got a couple of the Hyper Motorsports trucks coming to a halt in the grass, a couple of Team PGR drivers. And the boss man, Michael Triscaro, of course, race controlling here tonight. Probably not too happy seeing a couple of his drivers in that one, but we'll have a chance to hear from here in just a little bit. But let's go back first, Dawson, and take a look at exactly what happens to bring out this first caution tonight. Just getting ready to talk about how that third lane was starting to fade a little bit. And then you saw one truck get turned around. I thought it was John Mullahan. But again, couldn't tell from that first view, so we're going to go up here and take another look at it from TV Follow. And I think it was potentially the 6 here of John Mullahan. You see he was running, looks like 3rd on that outside line. And we'll have to we'll wait till we get off the turn 4 here to verify this. But you see Kyler Wynn, Garrett Maines, no real stack up. The third lane's starting to fade. No, it was not John Mullahan. I apologize. It was a couple rows up. It was Alex Hill. And let's see here. It looks to me like maybe he's just going to try to jump up. Not quite clear, but let's go to the chopper view first. You see on his outside, he did have Cody Nagels behind him, one of his teammates. And so I don't think Cody had gotten there just yet. Well, no, I don't think he does, Dawson. I think Alex is it's close. Alex is trying to make that move really quick, but unfortunately the door is just closing up the last second. I mean, unless there's something else going on, but that's certainly what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it's too soon. I think the move from Alex Hill. Now, I will say it's muscle memory. I think he expected to be clear right there. Perhaps it was very close. It was probably about 6 to 8 inches that he was just still on the front bumper of Kyler Wynn. And as he comes up, unfortunately, once you're hooked that guy's front bumper, there's not much you can do. And it rattles all the way back through the KSR guys. JR Miller, John Mullahan all getting involved as well. But the biggest damage of that one is Alex Hill for sure. He is destroyed here off the outside wall.
And, I mean, we can be the first to let you know, Kyler Wynn's not one of the guys that's going to cut you a break in that circumstance. And he didn't cut Alex any sort of break there. Said, hey, man, if you're not clear, this is what's going to happen. And you see a wicked save right there between Garrett and Kyler. How about Ken McCullough Jr. as well? I mean, we had about 2 or 3 different trucks, Dawson. Oh, you see Ken actually going into the outside wall there. But we had about 2 or 3 trucks that got whipped sideways, wheels up in the air. And somehow when they came back on the ground, they were able to all hold on to it and save it. But we're going to take another view of this here from on board with Kyler Wynn. I think this is going to maybe do just a little bit more justice in showing exactly what it looked like from his view. And you talked about how close Alex was to being clear, and sometimes when you drive on the outside, it's just too quick to react to that. And boy, yeah, Alex made that move so quick that I don't even think Kyler had a chance to react, even if he tried to. And then you see him working the wheel afterwards to try to minimize the damage, which he was able to do pretty successfully. But yeah, that's certainly a little bit of a firework to start the race off of.
Yeah, and it's actually a little bit frustrating because, man, the racing was just getting good up front. It had been good here for a couple laps. They were starting to get the third line working again, and just one of those muscle memory moves for Alex Hill that works probably 99% of the time, but in that rare instance that it doesn't. And again, you talked about Kyler Wynn not cutting anybody a break in that spot. Unfortunately, it ends in a pretty big wreck. Now, I will say he has used his fast repair for the night. He's already back up to 10th. So, you know the mindset of Alex Hill. It's going to be get up front early and often and stay there. Now, some of the other guys in the wreck, they may be going the other way on this one.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that fast repair kind of the saving grace here tonight. I think some guys kind of like that old-fashioned sense for PGR. A lot of the guys that were really liking the new format with the no fast repair. But tell you what, first caution of the night, if we got a chance, let's see if we can hear from the man himself. Michael, you joined us in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going, man?
Well, it's going good, and I'll tell you what, for a man that put together a series not long after coming into iRacing, certainly looking pretty good now. You got the highest average driver count each week in the money racing scene, and, man, we get the first birthday and the one-year anniversary race tonight. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's year to the date of the first race I put on. I don't think we had even double that amount of drivers then, but you had to start somewhere, and kind of remember just being a new guy on the scene here and messaging you on here and seeing if you could come out and do some broadcasts. And obviously it took a flyer on me, man, and I appreciate it because here we are a year later with, obviously, like you said, the highest average driver count weekly of any money racing series. So we did something right, man, and obviously I couldn't have done it without you and Baker and some of the other guys, Dawson as well, coming on board lately to help broadcast. So I appreciate it a lot, but big thanks to these drivers, man, because they come out each and every week believing what we do, and we put on good shows.
Yeah, we certainly do it. I mean, only fitting, right? I couldn't miss the broadcast here tonight for the one-year anniversary. But, you know, when you start to get this many drivers week in and week out, everybody says, okay, well, you know, it's fun to race at Talladega each week, but guys want to start to branch out, start to try new things, and it seems like that's exactly where PGR is headed. And we know we've had some big events already, looking for some more ahead, including one that I'm excited to hear for, which I think Dawson may even be covering. Something I haven't seen in iRacing before, the Better Half Dash. What else can we look forward to here in 2024?
Yeah, we got some big plans. That's right up there on the top of my list. I actually got to get my wife down here and start working on her skills here in the draft. It's going to be on the Tuesday, I believe, before Valentine's Day. That should be a fun one for some of the wives. It looks like FEG is coming on board to sponsor the next 4 races. But after that, we got that March Madness tournament. So we got a 5-week knockout bracket style tournament. One guy will end up being the champion in that, so that's going to be pretty cool. And got some things in the plans for the second quarter. I know we're going to do another team draft event, and we look to do a podium style event at some point this year. So look for that, and we're going to keep this train rolling.
Certainly will. All right, thanks for giving us a quick word. We'll get some more updates from Michael Triscaro, again, doubling his race control, and then, of course, series owner here tonight. But here we go, 8 laps complete. Caution has been cleaned up. Green flag back in the air at Talladega.
Well, a stack up further back towards the middle of the pack. They all keep it going, I think. It was a weird checkup back there about 10, 12 rows deep. Everybody keeps it going straight. Somebody did not go on the restart. Couldn't tell who it was. Dale Couple still control both lanes here on the restart. Watch for Alex Hill, Matt Lee, perhaps. Former teammates. They got Jeff Merck there as well. So 3 of the current or former NBG trucks lined up. Look for them to take the third lane when they get it. Onto the super stretch. Dale Cup continues to lead. And that is Malik Ray. I think I may have called him Andrew Navarro earlier. It's a similar paint as what we're used to seeing Andrew Navarro run. But it is Malik Ray here at the front of the field. And he's giving Karosik a nice push. And Trevor Oswernot's in the fray all of a sudden in that Lightning McQueen Doc Hudson style paint there, third in line.
Yeah, and those 2 Coke Series drivers, Garrett Means and Malik Ray, running side by side. They actually just ran the Clash at Daytona last night, so getting a little bit more drafting practice here before we head over to the big race. So the Coke Series guys do at least in a couple weeks. But how about that move right there from Malik Ray, Dawson? Looked like he was going to split Steve Karosik. Now, lucky for Steve, he's got a teammate up here in Cody Nagel, so he was able to drop back down. But looks like Malik Ray showing a lot of aggression. He wants no part in sitting second, and it looked like, Trevor Osmoth was going to go with them, but that leaves the question of what do Jeff Merck and Alex Hill do? I think if the 42 jumps out, those two stay in the middle. All of a sudden, Dale comes back 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I think so. I think they probably stay home and stay in the middle if those guys were to get out in front. Now, we'll see next time Steve Karosik goes up, which I imagine will be right here on exit in turn number 4. Watch for him to jump back up. There he goes, right on cue in front of Malik Ray. Ray stays home this time. Trevor Osbornoff does as well. So we continue on 2 wide out of turn number 4. Contact! Nagels got into his teammate, either into his teammate or into Malik Ray. I couldn't tell which. Nagels was all kinds of crazy sideways. Keeps the truck going. It stacks the field up. Everything's all good and dandy. Dale Cup still 1, 2, and 1.
Yeah, and he had Garrett Maines on his bumper, too. That was a phenomenal save from Cody, and a nice piece of driving there by Garrett to check up just enough to let Cody keep it together, but not lose all their momentum. Now, looking a little bit further back, here we go, 3 wide again, Dawson. John Mullahan was the first man, it looked like, up, and he had some help from Kyler Wynn along with the 10 truck, but in front of him now, we're going to see a lot more takers. Colin Bowden, looks like Alex Hill, Matt Lee also going to jump up to the top, and they're going to try to go 3 wide here into turn 3, racking out back. The 10 truck hard into the wall. 2 more. Does everybody else pile in? They do. Now the second pack's arrived on scene. The 29 of Christopher McCullough. Richard Elliott's in it. Looks like Danny Barnes has come to a stop on the apron as well. Ken McCullough Jr. is going to drive through. And getting the most damage out of this one is the 10 machine of William Hicks. So it comes out with 12 laps complete. Second caution of the night. And go back and take a look here before we stipulate too much here. And yeah, it's one of those cases. Looks like it's going to be 2 trucks, Thomas Parker and William Hicks. So we'll go first to the TV follow cam to see if this gives us any sort of insight. And yeah, those 2 are definitely going to make some contact there. The right rear, William Hicks, and the left rear, Thomas Parker, that is. And then they go right up into the outside wall. So we got that part figured out. Question's going to be, how does this contact start? Does Parker come down? Does Hicks come up? Or is it a little bit of both? So here we go as they dive into turn number 3. Hicks left tires on the white line, actually go below the white line still. And hey, he starts to come up last minute, but I'll tell you what, Dawson, it definitely looks to me like maybe Parker starts to come down a little bit more there. Maybe he thought he was clear behind or was just ducking down for a little bit of a side draft in. But by the time he realized, I mean, that left front had already met the right rear. Contacts made, sends the 10 up into the wall, and then here's that second pack arriving on scene. And unfortunately, the 10, the way the truck wrecks, it kind of hangs it in the middle of the banking. So there's not really anywhere for these guys to go. They got to split high or low, hope for the best. Christopher McCall tries to get check up. Unfortunately, his teammate Mark Von Dell not quite able to get on the brakes enough in time. There you see Logan York diving down to the grass. I mean, this is similar to what we saw in that first wreck. It's going to collect about 4 or 5 of these guys.
Yeah, to me it looks more like, Hicks is bouncing around a little bit, trying to get a side draft anywhere he can. I think they meet in the middle a little, going for the same piece of real estate. Maybe just some kind of miscommunication, close racing. Obviously, with them being 3 wide, it was just a tough spot. And unfortunately, for that second pack, there's just not much you can do. You're coming on so fast. He's hanging in the middle of the racetrack. You have no idea where he's going to be when you get to him there. So unfortunate for the second group, but just one of those racing deals that happens when you're 3x3.
Certainly does, and I think that Richard Elliott may have got the worst brunt force from that, as it looked like he hit William Hicks straight on. Here's a look from the onboard for Jared Miller, who was able to get checked up in time. You saw Logan York not quite as lucky, and that would be where that contact was for Logan York, at least the initial contact. So maybe just a couple bumps and bruises on the truck for J.R. Miller, but besides that, I don't think he's going to have to use his fast pair yet, which is big news with a couple early cautions that we've seen here. And taking a couple more angles of this one here from TV4. Again, looking at this second pack arriving on scene here, and we're actually going to go back to Richard Elliott. And you see he's kind of got a truck blocking his vision just a little bit, and that's what hurts him here because he just can't see it. He's trying to check up. By the time he sees the 10 William Hicks, it's too late, and then there's the T-bone from Danny Barnes as well. And a little bit of insult to injury. We'll take one final view of this from the wall cam. And so a lot of aggressive racing early, Dawson, but that wreck there just, you said it, I think you said it perfectly, just kind of a racing incident. You kind of expect those to happen a couple times here when we head to these super speedways, but you know, it's the idea of the caution coming out always seems to stir these guys up and make them just a little bit more aggressive, which is opposite to what we see in real life, right? I mean, usually you see cautions this early, you think about calming down, but when it comes to money racing, there's only so many positions that pay, and you got to get track position to have a chance at those positions late in the race. And so that's why I think we're starting to see the aggression crank up, even though we're only just over a quarter way through this race.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And, you know, now add another factor to it. With these guys pitting under this caution, they should be able to go the remainder of the race. Now, many of them you'll see save here under this caution, run down on the flat on the apron to save a little bit more fuel. And now they'll come back up and get ready for the restart. But we're really close to that window. In fact, I think we're in the window now. Guys will save. We have 3 green-white checkered attempts, I believe, tonight that we will utilize should we need them. So that's what these guys are going to start to think about. The fuel strategy, it's already getting interesting early. These guys might be able to go the whole way.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting strategies going to be played here. But I forgot about, I'll tell you what, I'd forgot about the 100% fuel for a minute because we're not used to that. I mean, it's probably been a month or two since we've seen that format. But again, good to see it back. I like it. I mean, it gave us the chance for a green flag pit stop to come into play. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out tonight. But, I mean, hey, you know, your front runners that you have now, a lot of times when we see the pit stops, you still see them as the front runner. So not too much change there. But what I did like about this format, Dawson, we used to see it a lot, is it's really lined up for the underdogs, maybe some of the guys that consider themselves a little bit of the smaller dogs to come up here and have a chance because you don't have to worry about getting left behind by some of the bigger teams during that green flag stop. All it is now is a battle for track position. Maybe save just a little bit of fuel here. Make sure you're good to go until the end. But besides that, I think we're getting ready to see some of the most aggressive racing we have seen all night here with 15 laps complete when we cross the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I think we're about to get even more aggressive than we just were. Now fuel strategy becomes a little bit less of a question, and you'll see guys from further back. I'm looking at, again, guys like Alex Hill, guys like Jason Maines, guys like Matthew Baker, who we're used to having up here. He's on track with this big field tonight. It's been a little bit since he's been on track with this kind of field, so maybe he gets something going. Some of those guys back there are not going to be content running where they are. And when you talk about the underdogs, the smaller dogs, if you will, I'm looking for the guys that I see on Monday nights when I call those races that John Ward hosts. Trevor Osronov, how about him running P5 right now? And his teammate Ryan Bass, they both run on Mondays, so they're both inside the top 15. Those could easily be 2 of the favorites to win tonight.
Yeah, and if we had to choose guys to graduate from the little dogs, I mean, I think Osronov and a couple of the teammates for KSR, they got to be right there at the top of the list, along with just about everybody that we see running these PGR races. The most competitive series, some of the best drivers, and some of the best racing. All right, here we go. Going to try this again. Second caution of the night has been cleaned up. Back into the Geico restart zone we go, and through the gears we're going to go. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. It's going to be Dale Cup, both trucks with a good jump right off the get-go. The battle now is between Malik Ray and Garrett Maines. Who can give the better push? Malik had been working that outside for a little bit during that last run, but now you see Dawson that he's back on the inside. What can he make work? Trevor Osronov, Alex Hill on the inside as well. Dylan Jones, Jeff Merck, Jason Maines, and who chooses to go 3 wide first as we work our way off 2.
Yeah, no surprise. Oh, my goodness. Steve Karosik was pointed at the outside wall. He keeps it going and keeps it in second place in front of Garrett Maines. Incredible work by both drivers there. Steve to keep it going, Garrett to keep it off of him. But now, here's what that's going to do. It's going to allow Steve's Dale Cup teammate Cody Nagels to get clear. It also allows Malik Ray to get clear. Will Malik go to the top? He has not yet. Now starts to commit. They're hanging between lanes. Where does Malik go? He can't quite get to the quarter panel. Cody slams the door shut in Malik's face. Here comes Osronov on the bottom. Alex Hill's made his way back to the front. Jeff Merck trying 3 wide at the line.
And boy, Cody pulled a pretty aggressive block right there on Malik. I mean, he made it work. You can't call it a bad block, but I don't know, Dawson. I don't know if I'd be playing with fire like a guy like that. I mean, Malik, he's seen guys do this before. He wouldn't be too upset with maybe giving Cody a little bit more of a shot than he wanted to in the corner if he tries that again. But what it's done overall is stacked up this outside line, and it's allowed Trevor Osronov to jump out, but he doesn't get any help. Into the back of the train, he is going to go. Nobody jumping out to help him. Usually we see guys get caught in the middle, but he is all by himself on that 3rd lane.
He went too far. He did what these guys have been doing, tried to switch lanes and cool some temp on the bottom, and unfortunately he went just a little bit too far and left Cody Nagels a window to get clear and be able to get underneath him, split him out 3 wide. So a mistake there by Trevor. He'll live, he'll learn, he'll try to get back to the front. But now all of a sudden, look at how the front is made up. All of a sudden now, it's the former NBG Motorsports, now NBG and Dale Cup running 1, 2, 3, 4, and D3 has come out of nowhere. Daniel Eberhardt's made his way to the front of the field, as well as Sean Corbett and Ryan Bass, some new faces up here.
Yeah, Sean Corbett's probably one of those underdog picks that it's good to see at the front of the field right now, showing a strong run and a good promising finishes. Oh, Main's in the middle. Couple of them starting to bob and weaves. It looks like Dustin Carruthers had got shoved onto the apron. He's quickly going to gather it up, and everybody gets back together. Steve Karosik, now the lone wolf on that third lane. Nobody going with him. He's going to have to find a spot to drop in line. But I'll tell you what, Dawson, we keep mentioning the word underdog, and how about some of the fan favorites that are working their way up here right now? Sierra Clamper, she is in 18th, already up 14 positions from where she started. Going all the way back, the second man that we had on driver cams for us here tonight is Tony Cox in the 72 machine. And looking to see how many positions he made up from the start of this race. He's up 4, still back in 35th, but some good progress for that 72 truck here tonight. And another one of the drivers that you can't count out, Nashburn Billen. How about one of the newer Team PGR additions? That's Brock Westmoreland, who currently sits in that 15th position. He has made up 12 spots from where he started. And I'll tell you what, that's a strong add-on for Team PGR, and they're going to extend their stable with him.
Oh, and a guy who's got a lot of fire underneath him. I know not too happy about the way Monday night's Little Guys Series race ended. He's got a lot of fire lit underneath him tonight to go out and succeed, especially being on his new team. So we'll see how he can do, know what he brings to the table. Wow, a whole bunch of scrambling going on. Garrett goes top to middle, and now Malik Ray goes out in front of Colin Bowden, middle to top. So a bunch of scrambling, and no surprise, the Super Speedway ace in the Coke Series, Malik Ray, coming to the front outside of Garrett Maines. He's going to get to row number 3. Dale Cup NBG going to have a bit of a challenge here at the front in a moment. Malik's got a huge push, and he's coming forward, and when he gets there, not very easy to get back past him. Here comes Malik Ray on the outside.
Yeah, a lot of strong pushing. Ooh, Matt Lee with a little bit of a bobble and a checkup out back. Can everybody save this one? Looks like, again, they do. Man, you always get nervous when you see that chain reaction start to form with the checkups, but man, you called it, Dawson. Look at the surge from the third lane. Malik Ray is going to get clear, and it is not even close. He'll jump down to the middle, now to the bottom. A little bit more contact between that third lane and the middle. They're going to give each other some space, some breathing room as they work their way off of turn 4. But now you got Malik Ray in the middle, Colin Bowden up top, and still leading that bottom lane, Alex Hill. Well, no, actually, he's up in the second lane. It's Matthew Baker now who's going to have a chance to lead the bottom.
Middle is stacking up big time. Alex Hill's trying his best to push on Malik Ray, but they are not able to get connected very well. Now they do. Here going into turn number 1. That is not a great sign for the top line, led by Bowden and a Jason Maines machine. I'm sure it's getting pretty hot. Malik's hanging between lanes. We got contact between teammates here at the front of the field. Baker and Hill are together. Everybody keeps it going. Malik, I think, wanted to go to the bottom there. Unfortunately, has to bail. Now he bails to the bottom, and everybody is clean and green on the backstretch. 3 by 3. Here comes Colin Bowden. He wants a piece of the lead. So does Alex Hill. And all of a sudden, it's 3 by 3. Make it 7 rows deep. Now back to 6. Hill, some more contact with Colin Bowden. Alex Hill is a pinball there in the middle of the racetrack.
They can't keep this up, Dawson. Not for 21 more laps. Malik Ray is going to jump back to the bottom, but I'm telling you, it looks like we are coming to 2 to go. Still got plenty of racing to do, but Matthew Baker now in the front. All these guys just fighting for the track position. It's a top 5 payout tonight, so 1 spot less than usual. I don't know if that's what's got everybody amped up, but man, going for it right now is Matthew Baker. Will get plenty clear of the bottom and the top, trying to see if he can pull Alex Hill clear as well. Hill will have a chance to jump to the top, but nothing doing on the bottom as Malik Ray is trying to get a little bit of a surge back. He's got Daniel Eberhardt behind. The 90 adds to cool temps. That allows Matthew Baker to jump to the bottom. Alex Hill looking for another surge in the middle with Colin Bowden still up top. And you know, looking at some of the things that we saw here tonight, Dawson, that third lane was a little bit of a question. Sometimes when that track temp's too cool, it doesn't work that well. When it's too hot, it's the best lane on the racetrack. I think tonight it's proven kind of in the middle. If you got good pushers, it's a good lane, but still not overpowering as we've seen the bottom and middle have their moments.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of very even tonight. This is one of the more even racetracks I have seen. And I can tell you further back, Kyler Lynch really trying to make it happen. He's the first to try 4 wide with Mike Davenport. Has to dive out of that. But no, the third line is great if you can get the right pushers. And it can be even or even better then the middle and bottom lane. But Bowden now, unfortunately, I think is going to have another truck. Jason Maines is boiling behind him. They're going to have another truck jump up there. Their run is going to fade. And that's exactly what Alex Hill and Matthew Baker want to hear, because these guys are bouncing around, like I said, like pinballs here at the front. Right as I say that, top lane comes back to him. Look at the side draft in turn 3, so close to the middle lane. Bowden, very aggressive, and no surprise, car in the wall further back. Mike Davenport, trouble around goes Trevor Osbornoff.
Trevor Osbornoff with a big hit, only truck involved. Caution is out. And more trouble up front.
A couple more.
Oh no, we got one in the pits, one coming to a stop in the grass. I think that might have been Brambilla. And everybody that was in that second wreck thinks okay. I'm trying to figure out who that was, Dawson. Was that John Darnell?
I think one of them might have been Darnell, yeah.
Well, let's go back and take a look at this from where it starts. Osbornoff again, the man who got the worst out of all this. And at 89, the fabulous Stamper Hornet machine is not looking so fabulous anymore after this wreck. Looks like the wreck that put Doc Hudson in retirement for a little bit, but here you go. Mike Davenport was the first truck you saw on the wall. You heard Dawson call that out as it happened live. And was part of this Kyler Wynn trying to take it 4 wide, Dawson? It looks to me like it may have been here. So here you go. Kyler Wynn's got a little bit of a run. And yeah, it looks like he jumps up right there, and then it's just really tight. Maybe a slight bit of net code, maybe a slight bit of contact. And again, just one of those moves where, I mean, Kyler doesn't really have any help behind him. You got to kind of wonder, at least from our perspective, why he was going for that move. But, I mean, once he goes for it, the space, it's just not really there anymore. And once it closes off, Davenport comes across the nose, gets hard into the outside wall. That kind of shoots him back down the track. And he's going to get down into Trevor Osbornoff, who's going to go for just about a dead 45-degree angle here into that outside safer barrier. And how some of these guys miss this, I don't know. It's beyond me. You see Kyler Wynn jump to the inside. He's able to just sneak by along with the 12 machine of Justin Miller. And then we talked about a little bit of a second wreck right here, and I think that might stem from the 12 coming down the track. As looks like, no, he saves it initially. Watch John Darnell here. Oh, actually it is. As the 12's trying to gather it back up, make some contact with the 99. He goes for a spin. The 12 goes down the pits. They all save it. No further contact there.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering, when Davenport got in the wall the first time, so many times since the new truck update, the brand new truck update from several weeks ago, we've seen severe suspension damage when you get in the outside wall that really messes up your steering. You're not able to really steer the truck one way or the other. I almost wonder if maybe the incident between Kyler Wynn and Mike Davenport knocked the 55 suspension out of line there, and Mike may have just had no steering and was unfortunately forced to roll back down the hill, got a piece of Trevor Osbornoff. It's interesting just to see how he comes back down the hill. To me, it doesn't look like he would turn left off the wall. Perhaps some steering damage caused that one between those two.
No, I mean, of course, we know that outside wall sometimes can bounce you off depending on how you hit it, but I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if he had something damaged. In fact, probably going to take a ride on board here real quick with the 55 machine of Mike Davenport through this wreck. And he wasn't coming down like super oblivious. He just kind of ran out of room, and it's hard to call right there, Dawson. I think we need to hear it from him himself, but nonetheless, it was certainly broken after that second hit, and Trevor Osbornoff with that really, really hard hit here. We'll take one more look at it here from TV Follow, and then I think Sierra Clampert actually snuck through this. Yeah, she saw this coming, Dawson. You saw her jump to the bottom. That's a veteran move right there, to jump to the apron, get yourself as far away from what looks like it's going to be an accident as possible, and by doing that, you see she's going to be able to go right below this wreck. Logan York does the same. Braxton DeWeese follows, and so they all sneak by, but Trevor Osbornoff, the man who's going to get the most, Mark Vondell actually scrapes him there at the end, but see all the smoke coming out of the fabulous Stamper Hornet, and so that'll bring him down for the first and only fast pair that he's got on the night. As we go back up front, guess who? No surprise here. Malik Gray leading the field, and no surprise who's in second, third, fourth, or fifth. Matthew Baker second, Daniel Eberhardt third, Alex Hill in fourth, Matt Lee in fifth, Colin Bowden back in sixth, Cody Nagels in seventh, Ryan Baste eighth. Good to see him making his way up to the top 10. He's up 19 from where he started. Jason Maines back in ninth, and Garrett Maines rounding out your top 10. Going to be coming to 16 laps to go. Going to take our first break of the night. We'll go side by side and be right back for the restart at Talladega.
front. Now we're going to see a little four wide action. Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead on the record.
3x3 entering four.
Three dude. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the one-year anniversary race for PGR, now known as PGR ESPORTS, but things haven't changed much in that regard. The payouts have been just as phenomenal as they were from day one, and I like to say hopefully the broadcasts are just as good as well. But Dawson, 15 laps to go, it's crunch time, and here we go. You got a pro, a Superspeedway pro on the front row, Malik Ray, followed by Matthew Baker. Here we go.
Yeah, veteran of the Coke Series, veteran of the ERA races on the front row. Green flag is back in the air. 15 laps remain. Crunch time comes quick in these PGR races. It's here. Ray, quick block on Baker. Baker thought about taking a step outside. Would have taken Alex Hill with him, but he does see Colin Bowden back there 2 trucks back. Knows it would not have worked well for him for now. Content to push. D3, Daniel Eberhardt to the bottom of the racetrack. He wants to lead. Matt Lee, Cody Nagels in line down there. Some of the best of the best. Here at the front. Trouble around goes D3. Right in front of the whole field. Baker based involved. Now several more going to pile in.
Daniel Eberhardt, man, I was just getting ready to say something, and I hope that we didn't give him the announcer's jinx, as there's J.R. Miller sliding, and Eberhardt gets it back rolling. Looks like a couple others involved as well. I'm not seeing too many major hits yet, except for the 73 Ryan Bass. Boy, he looks to be really torn up, but you know, he won the initial race here, Dawson, when we first came here for the first time in PGR, and unfortunately, this isn't the way he would have liked to see his chances at the one-year anniversary race go, but I know he does have a fast pair, but you certainly don't want to have to use it. And Ryan Bass, he certainly is going to have to use it. I mean, that 73 is cooked. Suspension's gone, no front end. Hood flapping around. He's got smoke out the back. So let's go back and take a look at it. And so this, as you noted, started right at the front. And, man, they weren't even up to speed yet, Dawson. So surprising to see it happen this early. That may have helped with some of the damage, though. But here you go. Ooh. I think Malik gets a little bit of a sour push here, maybe from Baker. Yeah, here you go. Watch this. So Matthew Baker, as they come off the turn, it's not much. And again, sometimes these trucks are a little iffy. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't when you get a little bit offset. And Baker, as you saw right there, was just ever so slightly offset to the left of Malik. That's all it took when you're running this close to get Malik down into the 90 truck. You saw it send Matt Lee to the apron, but it sends the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt right back into the middle of the traffic. And then there's Matthew Baker going for a slide. Watch his hit for Baste. Tank slapper to the inside wall. And then Justin Mills sliding in. A couple others as well with nowhere to go. Ooh, I think Trevor Offenbach just avoided any big damage. So, yeah, it looks like in all the carnage that Ryan Baste was really the only guy that got any severe damage. But for some of the big dogs that were up there, I guess I shouldn't say that word in this case, but some of the guys that were leading here and some of the heavy hitters, such as Daniel Eberhardt, Matthew Baker, it's going to send him from the lead to the back.
Yeah, a tough break for a few of those guys, and it was an offset push from Baker. It's tough in these trucks. The way they come off turn 2 right there, Baker thinks he's square. He's not quite square. Actually rolls Malik up just a little bit, probably about a foot. And by the time he goes to push him again, he doesn't quite realize he's offset to the left. It hooks Malik right down into Daniel Eberhardt, and Eberhardt is along for the ride at that point. That is a pretty terrifying spot to be in one of these races when you're going sideways, spinning right in front of the whole field, a field of 40-plus trucks. It's really a tough spot to be in. Luckily, he escapes any major damage. But Ryan Baste not as lucky. They actually wrecked a second time beyond that. J.R. Miller and Steve Karosik got together and got in the outside wall as well. So a couple more potential casualties of that one.
Ooh, when you saw that hit right there from the wall cam for Steve Karosik, that was a pretty significant impact. We'll see how that affects him here as we take one more look from the TV follow cam. And ooh, as Eberhardt gets spun around, see that truck start to lift up, but quickly sets back down. And then here's the onrush and Ryan Baste, nowhere to go. He took a well of a hit to that inside wall. I mean, nowhere you can go, and you put on the brakes, but that wall comes up quick. We've seen it before, Dawson. You know how it feels to hit it, and man, Ryan Baste, I believe he does. You got to hope he's got a fast pair, because if he doesn't, you know, that damage would end his race, but it looks like he does as he's back out on track here. And so, yeah, sure enough, the 73 will be back in contention now. This restart is going to put us probably right about 10 laps to go, maybe 11. And you got Matt Lee for NBG Motorsports leading the way. Looks like it's showing Malik Ray scored in second, but I think it may be Cody Nagels. We'll find out here as they get lined up. So that would put Cody third, Alex Hill in fourth, Jason back in 5th, Colin 6th, Dustin in 7th, Garrett in 8th with Dylan 9th, and Sierra Clampert. Here you go, up 22 from where she started. Only 5 spots away from the first cash spot. She currently sits in that 10th spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple others that have made their way up through the field as well. Chris McCullough up 22. Logan York up 18. Heath Job up 19. Joey Allen up 20. Dustin Carruthers up 17 spots. A lot of guys have, been beneficiaries of a couple of wrecks here at the front of the field. And now as we get into crunch time, they're in a great spot. Carruthers is in the best spot of any of them. He'll line up, I believe, either 3rd on the top or 4th on the bottom here. It's going to be one of the two. But he'll line up here inside the top 8, barely outside the money spots right now. So for some of these guys started further back, they picked the right time to come forward, get through a couple wrecks. Now they're in a great spot. Be interesting to see what happens on this restart. Some teammates here running at the front.
And you know who we're always talking about as one of the best solo drivers in the field? It's Kyler Wynn. No surprise there, but one of the guys that we don't see as often, but I would put just about right there with Kyler Wynn in terms of being fast by themselves, is Braxton DeWeese. He's up 11 spots from where he started, currently sits in that 14th spot, and he probably makes some friends while he's out here, but doesn't have any assigned teammates, at least not that I know of. And you see he's in between a couple of McCullough Motorsports teammates, Logan York over there as well. Kyler Wynn, there's that independent driver, so see if those two can get linked together, maybe make something work. But looks like it's going to be 11 laps to go. And you got Malik Ray. He is on the outside, so Cody behind one of his ex-teammates there, but still one of the guys that you got to think he holds alliance with in Matt Lee. Alex Hill on the outside. So before we get back green, let's see if we can pull in series owner and race control tonight again in Michael Triscaro. And it's been a pretty good race overall. Things have been a little chaotic, but what have you seen that you liked and maybe didn't like here tonight so far?
It's been a really good race, man. A lot of 3-wide action there through the middle part of that race. Obviously, I'm always looking to, see a cleaner race, but we had 100% fuel tonight, 40 laps, so we weren't going to really do too many green flag stops, if max. So more just a racer's race tonight. So I really want to see this go green to the end. Hate when we kind of bunch them up a million times here, but I'm cheering for a first-time winner, man. So we're gonna try to get somebody up there. Hopefully I get Dustin Carruthers, even Sierra Clamper, man. Hopefully she can get up here in the cash spot. I'd love to see some new blood up there for sure.
Certainly would be a good sight to see here with 11 laps to go. And just before we go green, Dawson, you got an idea what payouts are looking like?
I don't have them off the top of my head, but I will get them for you.
Yeah, I got them. So first place tonight's going to get 250. Second place is going to get 200. Third place 175. Fourth and fifth are both going to take $125. And we did add sixth place. They're going to double their money and take home $50 tonight.
Well, there you go. That extra spot is getting a little bit more money, so we'll see how these guys react to that the rest of the way. Green flag back in the air. 11 laps to go at Talladega. Malik Ray, Matt Lee off to just about an even start. Cody Nagels is going to have to do a lot of pushing on the bottom. How will Alex Hill approach this? Has the option to take it 3 wide, but that would line up 3 pros in a row. I don't know if you want to do that. Sarah Clampert, maybe she's the one that takes it 3 wide. If she doesn't, promise you Kyler Wynn certainly will.
Lampert's starting to look. One gets up in front of Sierra. I believe that's Dylan Jones in the 32, the all-white truck. He's trying to make ground as well. Third line rolling. It's Kyler Wynn in the 82. Now he dives back in line. Really dysfunctional bottom line as well up front. Lee Nagels have no help. Carruthers is nowhere to him. Malik Ray surges to the race lead. Alex Hill surges here to second. Contact between Lee and Hill here at the front of the field. Top line is rolling. Bottom line is not. Ray is clear. Alex Hill, if he gets clear in front of Matt Lee, imagine he will hook a left. No, he's going to stay in line for now. Pretty smart move here by Alex Hill. 10 laps to go as they pass the line. It's Ray, Hill, Bowden, 1, 2, 3.
And here comes that third lane. It's only 2 trucks strong right now, but it may be enough to make some progress. Now they're going to get to the side of Jason Maines. Christopher McCullough trying to side draft Garrett Maines a little bit, but him and Kyler Wynn trying to work together. You saw Kyler pretty much going right from the drive. Oh, wrecking Jason Maines hard into the outside wall, and they're wrecking even further out back now. A couple more are going to go towards the inside wall. Kyler Wynn spins around. Christopher McCullough, Mike Davenport, as Mark Von Dell, man, just narrowly misses that one right there at the end. Brings out your 5th caution of the night. Just getting ready to say that Kyler was going from the get-go there, was trying to get the third lane going, and looked like it was working out pretty well there, but we know how quickly things can go south here at these super speedways, and let's see what happens here. It's going to start between Kyler Wynn and Jason Maines running side by side here off of turn number 2. Now you see Kyler and Chris staying as tight as they can. Got to get a little bit of a side draft, but Yeah, well, Dawson looks to me like maybe a little bit of right rear net code there. I think Jason does move up just a little bit as he's trying to get lined back up with the 24's bumper. Doesn't want to get him offset. And that little bit of a move up along with just a little bit of right rear net code is all it took to get that one truck turned into the outside wall. And actually, it looked a lot harder from our TV follow cam than I think it was. May still be a fast pair, but again, not as much damage as maybe we initially thought. And, you know, we saw some slide down to that inside wall, Dawson. But did you see just about, looks like 3 of them almost, all somehow managed to get it turned back towards the right direction and actually not even hit anything?
Yeah, somehow, I'm not sure how several of these guys kept it off the inside wall, but somehow, some way they do. And yeah, it looks like right rear net code to me. Pretty considerable right rear net code. Now, Jason's coming up the hill, but not significantly enough that I think there would have been contact, but it does register regardless. Jason goes for a slide. He looks to be okay. Now, Chris McCullough, not sure about him on this one, as well as a couple others that got involved late. Kyler Wynn goes for a spin as well. He spun basically all the way down the backstretch, it seemed like.
Yeah, and here's another angle of that hit for Jason Maines. And, you know, the hits are never soft to the outside wall here, but it seems like they've been a little more forgiving tonight than usual. And one of the big questions here that I think a lot of people probably had to ask was Sierra Clampert involved in this? And we saw her running near the front, and all of a sudden, there she is on the inside. So I think she did. That'd be another phenomenal wreck avoidance, but further back, I mean, look at how some of these guys are missing this wreck. You see a little bit of a secondary incident right there between, looks like Tony Cox. And try to figure out who else. Looks like the 4 of Justin Mills. That sends the 72 into the outside wall. There's Kyler Wynn going back up the track. But, I mean, how about John Darnell, John Mullahan? The job some of these guys did to not hit that inside wall. I mean, they kept the wheel crank left. They never locked it down and just accepted it. And as a result, a lot of them going to avoid, potentially have to use a fast pair. And some of them don't have one left. So this could have saved their race. Here's the onboard view. Watch Joey Allen just in front of John Mullahan. And then John Mullahan here. Dive low, some contact there, but then to not clobber that inside wall, man, nicely done, especially for Joey Allen and John Darnell. I mean, I just cannot wrap my brain around how they missed that one. But nonetheless, Dawson, you know, I kind of call when you get cautions like this, not so much a useless caution, but not many trucks going to be taken out. All it does is rack everybody back up and make the next restart that much more aggressive.
Yeah, it definitely does because it takes away a lot of your time. We go from about 11 laps to go on the last restart to what's going to be 6 here on this restart. Your time's cut almost in half, and if you're now a guy outside the top 10, really, you got to go now. I mean, there's no more choice. At least if that green flag plays out, you have a few laps to plan, to game plan, to get up, to make moves, to find dance partners and get to the front. Now, you really have to scramble to make plans if you're from about 12th on back to try to get to the front. You know these front 3, 4, 5 rows are not really going to move until it's absolutely necessary. So you got to be more aggressive. It just makes everybody's time clock a little bit shorter, and that can lead to a lot more mistakes, a lot more problems. And it's often why people say late in these kinds of races, cautions breed cautions.
Certainly do. And you know what? One thing that we know for sure is nobody's coming in for tires or fuel at this point. Well, actually, fuel maybe. We'll have to see differing strategies, but you're definitely not taking tires. And I don't think that fuel will be a concern, at least not for the rest of regulation. Overtime, maybe if we get into a second or third, some of these guys, but I think overall they're going to be good to go the rest of the way. Now, talking about where we're going to head next on Ghost Racing Network tomorrow night, doubleheader. It's going to start with the Noma Gen 6 Series. After that, make sure you tune in. PGR will be back with the regularly scheduled program. Thursday night action for PGR Esports. It's going to hit the high banks at Talladega Superspeedway. Back in the Xfinity cars. Going to try those out. We had phenomenal racing at Talladega. Daytona had a lot of promise, but unfortunately a lot of netcode along with it. And so tomorrow night's race, 45 laps, back to a different fuel strategy as it'll be 45% fuel. One fast pair, though. Good to see that back. And first place, going to be going home with 250. Second, 180. Third, 150. Fourth and fifth, 120. And $650. So equal, if not more, than what we have here tonight. And hoping to see a lot of the same guys that we do see out here tonight back tomorrow. But how about this crowd we got, Dawson? 33 viewers currently at the moment. Good to see everybody out here tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. And if you like what you see and you're not already, make sure to hit the follow button. Let us know that you're enjoying the broadcast. But Chris DeWeese, Devin Ray, Christian Martinez, looks like Alan's Arts Images, a couple others. I saw Baker's Mom at the starts, Kevin Nagels, Shirley Cox. Good to see everybody out here. Hope you're having a good Thursday or Wednesday night.
Yeah, good to see everybody here on a Wednesday night, too. Kind of an off night for PGR in terms of when we usually race, at least what we're accustomed to now. So really great to see a lot of people coming out for this one on a special night, on a week where we have 2 of these PGR races. And, man, if the one race per week was good, you don't want to miss these 2 for sure. The finish we got coming and the race tomorrow night, we're set up for a great doubleheader.
Certainly are. All right, the lights on the pace car are off, so that means we're getting ready to go back green this time. Now, Malik Ray, he's been in charge here for a couple different restarts now. You wonder if he's starting to get a feel for what some of these guys might try. I think, Dawson, that Bowden is going to stick with that 42 here potentially for the rest of the way. And so that leads to moving the hands of potentially Dustin Carruthers here at Clamper if you choose to make one. But that bottom lane, they're not done yet. I mean, you got 3, 4 of the strongest super speedway racers that I can name off the top of my head. Matt Lee, Alex Hill, Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines, and you can't forget about the veteran, the FEG champ, Ken McCullough Jr. What can he make happen right here? Green flag back in the air. 6 laps to go. Malik Ray gets a big jump off the go.
That was a huge jump from Malik Ray. He timed that perfectly, and so did Colin Bowden. They're going to both clear down here in front of Alex Hill and Matt Lee. Here's the problem. I don't know if I like that. You're going to line up the former NBG teammates here, 1, 2, 3. They're not going to let this stand. The second Garrett Maines jumps out, they're going to go with them. Colin Bowden, Malik Ray may have made a poor miscalculation here off of 2 as everybody singles out. Not a good sign here for these front 2.
Yeah, the one or 2 tracks that you'll hear us say you don't want to get a big jump on the restart, Talladega and Daytona. And there you go. Now they're reaping the consequences, if you will. Matt Lee goes to the bottom with a push from Alex Hill and Cody Nagels. Top lane has all but disintegrated for just a moment. That's going to allow NBG and Dale Cup to split these 2 lanes up and try to do a little bit of controlling. There goes Alex Hill. He'll move to the top. Does Malik Ray make a move? No, he doesn't. He'll stay on the back bumper, the 77 for now. How about the 3 wide that we've got further back?
Yeah, it looks like NBG is leading that line as well. It's Merck and Baker. They're trying to make something happen to get back to the front to help their teammates. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have a whale of a run when they get there. Bottom line falls apart a bit. Hill on the bumper of Ray trying to hang on to that truck. It's a handful right now for the driver of the 77. 4 and 6 back on the bottom. Kenny McCullough, Sierra Clampert now coming into the picture. Now the third line starts to roll again further back. Still 2 by 2. NBG on the front row. NBG and Dale Cup, that is. Watch out for that top line. They're coming in a hurry.
I don't know if you saw that at 2 right there, Dawson, but Malik Ray was really getting offset of Alex, and he actually bailed out completely to make sure he didn't wreck him. It works out there, but now it's causing stack-ups further back. To the outside goes Colin Bowden. Jeff Merck has to check up. Now he's going to get the edge as he'll get to the outside line. And that's going to trap a couple of these guys in the middle as Matt Lee goes back to the bottom. 3 wide, and that third lane is on a roll now. Jeff Merck with a push from Matthew Baker. Nagels gets spun. Oh, he saves it. What a save from Cody. He's going to get back on track, try to find a spot to merge. Everybody will let him do so. Save of the night, but it cost him position. Now Garrett checks up. Matt Lee on the apron. There they go. They're wrecking out back. Do they all save it again? No, they don't. And the 12. Oh, big hit into the inside wall for Justin Miller. Well, that was a wreck, Dawson, that lasted for probably about half a lap, and eventually guys finally started hitting some things. Looking here at all the victims of this one, Justin Miller, I think, got the worst of it. So first things first, and I mean, this has to take priority here. What a save from Cody Nagels. First thing I thought was he was going to clobber the inside wall. Next thing I thought was he was going back up into the field. And the next thing you know, he's got it saved and trying to merge back on track. I mean, you cannot make this up. Watch the work here that Cody Nagels does with the wheel to not wreck. I mean, he is completely just about 90 degrees sideways. He's got to go back to wheel lock to the right and then get it back to the... I mean, that is just phenomenal driving. And maybe this works out for the best here, Dawson, because they're going to start wrecking just ahead, and he's going to have a front row seat for this wreck and luckily be able to miss it. Does lose some track position in the process, but going back to take a look at where this wreck itself actually starts, that's what we're still trying to break down a little bit. It happened in about 3 different areas, so we'll go back up to the front first here. And Garrett Maines, there's going to be a little bit of a checkup as he gets to the back bumper of Alex Hill, I believe, and that's what kind of sparks this whole thing. So here you go. Yeah, watch Garrett. He's going to get to the back bumper, Alex, and the run, the difference in speed is just so great that when he gets there, he's got nowhere to go. He's got to give him a push, but watch this get the one out of shape, gets him sideways, gets down, gets Matt Lee off the track, and that starts causing all sorts of checkups out back, and they see John Ward in the 92, nowhere to go. He's going to run into the back of Trevor Oswanoff. That'll send him down into Logan York, and the wreck was on from there.
Yeah, just kind of a stack up that resulted from some of the scrambles we saw at the front of the field as guys tried to check up, stack the lines up. Obviously, with as many trucks are in each line, it was going to happen. It stacked its way back, and it gets worse the further back it gets. And unfortunately, for some of the guys running mid-pack, including Trevor Osbernoth, they get the raw end of that one. As it got back to them, not much they can do. They get run over from behind, and it's on from there. Another wreck that took a while to develop, but nonetheless, another few trucks involved and sets up a late race restart.
Looked to me there like Joey Allen was the truck that actually maybe took the hardest hit, but this was Justin Miller who trying to save it, and actually that was kind of a result of that. And then, ooh, yikes. We'll have to take a look back at that one as Kyler Wynn, I think, maybe trying to avoid Joey Allen and then maybe loses it himself. And fortunate for Kyler with the 12 being there, he's able to save it. Unfortunate for Justin Miller as he gets involved. Here's the onboard view. Kyler Wynn had a pretty good view of this entire wreck and had to do a couple different things to try to minimize the damage. And then you see as they go down, he's trying to check up, but then gets clobbered in the back. Now he's trying to miss it, turns down, and then just nothing they can do at that point. Gotta wonder, that may have been a little bit more damage than it initially seemed like from the first couple of shots we took. And take one more view of this here from the wall cam. And we've seen, I still don't think we've seen a big one yet, Dawson. We've seen quite a few wrecks tonight, but none that have really taken out the entire field. So we still got a lot of trucks running, and you mix that with an overtime finish, boy, it's going to be exciting.
Well, they've gotten away with it a couple times. We see Daniel Eberhardt get turned out of the lead. We see Alex Hill get turned out of position number 2. Both times, it does not take many of the leaders with it, so they've gotten away with it twice. I don't think they'll be able to get away with it 3 times, and obviously now with only 2 laps to go, all 3 lanes going to be clogged here on the race start. Any wreck that happens now will be massive, especially since it's most likely going to come from the first 3-4 rows of the field. So be watching for that. Be on your toes right here. Take a deep breath under this caution. Might be the last one we get with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and we're going to take a deep breath as well. Take what's hopefully our final break of the night. We'll go side by side and be back for overtime number 1 at Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the wreck.
3x3 entering 4.
3 deep.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Back live at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for the conclusion of the 1-year anniversary race for PGR, now known as PGR ESPORTS. And here we go. 2-lap shootout, green, white, checkered. If we make it to the white flag, this race will be official. If we don't, we'll rack them up and try it again. And I believe we have 2 more tries after that. Malik Ray, Colin Bowden on the front row. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega.
Ray gets another incredible start, but this time Alex Hill matches him. Match plays him on the top line rolling. Hill, notably with a former teammate behind him in Matthew Baker. Carruthers-based KSR teammates here at the front. Merck as well has made his way to the front of the field. Ray to the bottom, leaves Hill the top. I don't know if I would have done that. Ray back up in front of him. They got to make sure this push is square. Somehow it is off the bumper of Alex Hill. Oh man, that was close. Bowden now gets the bottom line, but doesn't have a ton of help. Garrett's not quite to Merck, still too wide. When does the third line move come? Off into 3, Hill goes bottom right, blocks him to the yellow line.
Well, we said during break that Malik might be making some big blocks. That's what he's doing, and Alex Hill is all over the 42, going to push him right out of the way. Now the 5 of Matthew Baker is going to split him. Malik Ray with no help, he's going to get some, and now they split again. Everybody trying to wreck. Are they going to hold on to it? They are not. We got one in the grass. Are they going to get there? No caution yet. 4 wide. And we get the white flags in the air. 1 to go at Talladega.
Yeah, all of a sudden now we're 3x3 up front. Baker and Hill still lead the top and middle. I have no idea how they saved it. Bowden's on the bottom. Who's the first to try 4 wide? Is this the 3 we see for sure? Ray pushing hard in the middle. Carruthers pushing hard up top. Garrett Maines pushing hard at the bottom on the back of Colin Bowden. Still 3x3 down the backstretch. Who gets the better push? Looks to be the bottom. Baker's trying to get any help he can get. Does Maines get clear? Into 3 they go, 3 wide.
Colin Bowden looking for his first win. Can they hold it together? They're wrecking out back. Malik Ray and company all get turned. This will come down to a 5-truck race up front. 3 on the bottom, 2 on the outside. Now Maines is going to take a look. Ken McCullough Jr. gets turned out back. Now it's down to 2. Does Alex Hill have anything in the back? Garrett with another big move. He tries to get there. He won't. Colin Bowden with a travel. Here's another move, though. Garrett on the outside. They're going to wreck. Alex Hill steals it at the line. Garrett Maines, Colin Bowden tangle. They clean each other out, and Alex Hill drives through to win it in one of the wildest finishes we have seen all year.
Uh-oh, temper is going to flare, I think, here between Bowden and Maines. That was an ugly look all the way through the tri-oval, and they end up taking each other out. They could have drag raced to the line. Instead, they decide to just clean each other out. Alex Hill says, thank you very much, drives on by. What a win tonight for Alex Hill. He gets his get back here in PGR.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we knew coming in that they weren't fans of each other, but man, I didn't think we'd see that from 2 of the more professional guys we have in the field, and that's a tough break, so I know everybody wants to see it. Let's go back, take a look at it. In fact, I want to break down a couple big things that happened on this last lap. First of all, we saw that absolutely phenomenal save from just about the entire field. Unfortunately, as a result, we did have one go round, so it looks like, was it Ken McCullough Jr.? No, it's going to start a little bit further back. It's a 60 at Jeff Merck again. The bad luck continues as just a stack up with a bunch of stuff going on up front sends him around. But then here we go. Fast forward this a little bit, and 3 wide. Everything looked pretty clean and pretty consistent here, Dawson. I thought everybody was going to be content to push where they were at unless something opened up. But then when we get here into turn 3, this is where the next mess is going to start. And we'll see exactly where it does start here. And so they go 3 wide for second, and it's just they're running so tight that eventually it looks like, Sarah Clampert, maybe that's kind of where this starts, somewhere in that area. I'm not sure if it was her herself that actually starts it, but looks like as she's getting down on the track, maybe her and John Ward did get together. She gets into Jones. That sends him up into Lee. He gets up into Baste. That's going to turn Baste down into the 42 of Malik Ray, and the chain reaction from there is going to send everybody up the track. Last lap, nobody's lifting, and boy, this is where the fireworks sort of come to life. So Garrett Maines looks for a jump up. And, Dawson, tell me what you think here. I'm wondering if Garrett was going to try to fake high and go low. But Ken McCullough Jr. is already getting there with the run. So when Garrett maybe tries to think about coming down, Ken's already there. It kind of starts to hook the one, but they save it. And so now the one is going to go high. He's almost forced to get up there. Ken McCullough Jr. maybe tries to follow a little bit of right rear net code or just gets into Baker. That sends those 2 hard into the outside wall. And then this is where it all gets ugly here. Bowden's going to take, Bowden, I apologize. I don't mean to keep saying Bowden, but he's going to take him all the way up to the wall right here. And as Colin does so, Garrett not liking that. In fact, he just about puts Garrett in the wall there. And then coming back down, I thought it was clean. Garrett makes another move. They somehow play the 2-truck tango without wrecking here, come through the tribal. At this point, I thought that Bowden had it, but then you see Garrett lines up, and Alex gives him another big run. And, I hate to say it, but, we'll watch the hands here, and that doesn't look like too good of a look there for Colin. But, I don't know, Dawson. I mean, it's certainly, the truck certainly darts up, When let's go to the cockpit view here. It almost looks like he initially goes to make the move, and yeah, well, I don't know. The cockpit's not really doing it much justice. I take that back.
Yeah, I just went back and watched it as well. I didn't get to catch it the first time, and yeah, not a good look there. And I think it's important to note for anyone that has followed any of these broadcasted races, these are two guys that had some run-ins a couple weeks back, right before a PGR event actually, and it resulted in some bad blood between those two. I don't know if that factored in here, but it looks to me like Bowden hangs are right in the trial. But I mean, the luckiest guy out of the three is Alex Hill. He'll take that all day long. He just drives on by, says, "Oh well." I mean, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. He drives on by and is the lucky beneficiary of that one.
All right, well, before we go pull in your top three for interviews here tonight, let's take a look at your race results. As noted, Alex Hill gets the win. I mean, no surprise there. I mean, he's got to be right there on the top of the guys that made the most money in this series. Colin Bowden brings home second after the last lap tangle with Garrett Maines, who brings home that last podium spot in third. So, I guess all things considered, Dawson, if you're going to take each other out, you might as well still finish in the money while you do it. Sarah Clamper brings home fourth, John Ward fifth, Justin Mills back in sixth, Matthew Baker seventh, Kyler went eighth, Logan York in ninth, and there's Braxton Deweese. No surprises. He's able to bring home a top 10.
Heath Joe finishes 11th. Ken McCullough Jr., tough run for him after being third in the last corners of that one. He finishes 12th. Ryan Baston 13th. Brock Westmoreland 14th. Sean Corbett finishes in 15th. Nash Brambilla finishes 16th tonight. Justin Miller in 17th. Trevor Osbernoth in 18th. Steve Karosik in 19th. And Jeff Murky noted the bad luck continues. He finishes 20th.
Going back to 21st, it's Sean Darnell. 22nd, Tony Cox. 23rd, Malik Ray. Dustin Carruthers in 22nd. Matt Lee, 23rd. Dylan Jones, 26th. John Mullahan in 27th. Mark Vondell, 28th, with Danny Barnes in 29th. Cody Nagels rounding out your top 30.
Jason Maines finishes 31st. Richard Elliott 32nd. J.R. Miller 33rd. Joey Allen in 34th. Chris McCullough in 35th. Mike Davenport in 36th. Daniel Eberhardt 37th. William Hicks 38th. And shotgun on the field tonight, Thomas Parker in 39th.
And Dawson, you know what else I just realized here is we're going to get a chance to go interview the two guys that were actually involved in that. That doesn't happen very often, so you might want to stick around if you don't normally do for these interviews. They're going to be fun. Here we go. We'll be right back. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher. That's Garrett Maines. Gary, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, a last lap tangled, not something we see being caught up with too much, and got to be honest, it didn't look too good on the 24's part, but you guys have had some disagreements before. Is that what that was?
Oh, I'm just going to say they need to throw him out. In fact, that actually needs to be dealt with outside of this, because I'm done with it. That's twice. That's actually 3 times he has done something in a major money event to screw me over, and that was about as cut and dry of intentional wrecking as it gets. It's completely classless, uncalled for, from somebody that has the highest status on the sim. And obviously, I'm not taking it easy on him. That was absolutely ridiculous, and I'm just going to tell you how I feel on that.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we can understand the frustration nonetheless. I mean, you try to bring some of the positives, though, from this race. You still manage a top 3 nonetheless, and overall, how'd you feel about the 1-year anniversary for PGR?
That was a good time. I mean, thought we were going to win on the 1-year anniversary, but honestly, I mean, it was a sweaty race the whole time. We were door to door, 3 wide. It was probably some of the most intense racing I'd been in a long time. So, I mean, that's what you come to expect out of PGR. It's, literally some of the best super speedway racers on the sim, and I thought we had this one at the end, but I'm definitely pissed about that. Hopefully, we'll have better luck tomorrow night, but I definitely appreciate you guys putting this on. It's nice to, have something to do on a Wednesday night. This was a good time, and I guess we'll be back tomorrow.
Well, we saw you in the Clash the other night. Not the finish you wanted over there, but we see you tonight getting the finish you need. Third, bringing home a little bit of money before you go get ready for tomorrow night. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. I just got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body, Linux, guys over at Ryko and FGR for all of their support. Can't wait to get back out there tomorrow night. We got the Podium 500 coming up, and we got the Coke race at Daytona. So lots of super speedway racing coming.
All right. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Hey, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on the third place finish. So close, and man, maybe we'll see you in victory lane tomorrow night.
I hope so. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, and now it looks like Colin Bowden has not hopped in the waiting room, so we will move right on to your winner, Alex Hill. Dawson.
Yeah, I do. Hey, Alex, it's the boys in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, I'll tell you what. You watch this unfold in front of you. Take me through this first. Colin and Garrett tangle. What'd you see there off turn 4?
Yeah, I just see Kenny and Baker net code, which obviously sucks. I was going to go with Baker there. I was trying to form back a run again because I knew Garrett and Bowden were both going for it. But we didn't get that run. But, I mean, Garrett and Bowden just went at it. I was going to try to push Garrett to the win. I was going to try to time the run perfectly, and we did. And then it looked like Bowden just turned dead right. I mean, that was clear as day intentional. I don't know what's going to happen to his spot. I don't know what's going to happen, but that was pretty intentional in my eyes. I don't know about what you guys saw.
Oh, we definitely seem to agree on that part. Well, hey, nonetheless, it's a win for you. It's one of the first times we've seen you back in victory lane here over the past several weeks, so you get your get back tonight. You ran a really dominant race, save for that one incident early on, but hey, it's a dominant showing for you, a dominant showing for your team. Take us through what that does for you as we go forward to tomorrow night and into this new year.
Yeah, it does a lot. It gives a lot of momentum to the team, knowing that one of our guys just won the previous night. About the previous incidents, I just wasn't clear. I tried to time it right, try to get the run. Was trying to get up there, so we had both lanes in check, and I just didn't time it right, and I turned myself. But yeah, it sucks, but the team's better than ever. We're coming back tomorrow night, man, and we're gonna put on the show for you guys.
Well, if it's anything like tonight, it should be a dominant performance out of the Dale Cup boys tomorrow on the Thursday night series. Well, hey, you're in victory lane tonight. It's a nice payday for you here in a big event. So while we got you here for a second, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you to everybody over at Dale Cup. Steve, Cody, Lima wasn't here tonight, but thank you to all of them. Thank you to you and Austin for broadcasting this, man. Love watching the broadcast back. Michael for race controlling and promoting this thing tonight. Just well of a job of him from race control and promoting this. So thank you to all you guys, and I appreciate what you guys do.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic run tonight. You get it back in victory lane. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, and we will see you right back here tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
All right, and that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here on the night. Well, we certainly got all we wanted for here tonight, Dawson. We had fireworks, we had great racing, we had a finish we never would have guessed out of the books, and we got another repeat winner, Alex Hill. I talked about how strong of a competitor he was earlier, and no surprise to see him in victory lane one way or another. But tomorrow night, going to be back with more action. Appreciate you tuning in here tonight, and you got any final thoughts before we head out?
Oh, it was a great one. Great to be back up here in the booth after a couple weeks getting on track, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow as well. And what a fun one to watch, a loaded field, and got a lot to talk about for the next 24 hours. Going into the next one, Alex Hill, he's back in victory lane, looking as dominant as ever as a part of that great Dale Cup team.
That'll do it for tonight. I'm Austin Green alongside Dawson Wise. Thank you all so much for watching PGR here on Ghost Racing Network. Again, we'll be back tomorrow night. Hope everyone enjoyed. Until next time, have a good night.